Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the video, and this is a paid request for Marv B. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Patreon, CashApp, all that stuff to be used as well. PayPal's usually the best way to do it, though. Any review, re-review, topic, reaction, commentary, whatever the case may be, I'll get to as soon as I can. Feel free to send it down in the info box below. And the links are down below in the info box if you want to send it. If so, feel free. And I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Now, this is for Bloody Murder 2 Closing Camp, which I reviewed the first Bloody Murder. Was not a fan of it at all. That was one of the most boring, bland slasher films I've ever seen in my life. And then this is not the same director. This is Rob Spera, who did Leprechaun in the Hood. So I went in this going the lowest of low expectations. It's a sequel to a horrible movie that no one asked for, and it's from the guy who did Leprechaun in the Hood. I would not call this a good movie, but it was better than I thought it would be. Now, with that said, do I think this was necessarily a good film? No. There are there's tons of slasher films better. My Bloody Valentine, April Fool's Day, Silent Madness, many of the Friday the 13th films, Elm Street. I mean, the list goes on. But compared with the first film, this looks like Halloween. This looks like Nightmare on Elm Street compared to the first film. So I will give credit where credit's due that they didn't make a better movie than the first one. Yes, the plot is nothing to run home about. The acting, I think, is a bit better than the first. Some of the people are decent. Others are kind of just average, maybe mediocre. You just say the acting for the most part is mediocre, but again, they are Oscar winners compared to the actors in the first movie. Apparently, that cat feels the same way. Sorry, if you heard that cat, he has PTSD over Bloody Murder 1, so I apologize. Hey, I'm sorry. It was my fault. You walked in and watched the film. I didn't tell you to, but if you watch Bloody Murder 1, you may have PTSD as well, have nightmares about it, so I think that's what that cat was doing if you heard him. He had a nightmare. Don't worry, this is again, not a good movie, but it's a better movie. So, for those who don't remember, or don't know, or don't give a shit, the first Bloody Murder, there was a killer killing people at a camp. The way it ended, they got the killer. There was a decent amount of survivors. They went away. And then this guy was a bit of a dick. His name was Jason. He's walking away. He turns. Someone with a chainsaw and a hockey mask comes out. Cuts away. Because that film had like little to no blood in it. The death scenes were pretty off-screen or bloodless and just terrible. So that guy, Jason, has disappeared. It's 5 years later. His sister has this weird dream about him. And of course, this Jason is played by a different guy. And in the dream, she sees her brother chainsawed through the back. I'm like, damn, this one death is better than all the deaths combined in the first movie. Do you see him shaking? You see the saw blade come out, the chainsaw, and you see a wide shot where the killer... Only this time the killer... He's dressed more of a... like, all in black, and more of a... white... not quite Michael Myers mask. I don't know what kind of mask you would call it, but it's just a white mask. It's kind of weird that they decided not to bring that mask back. I guess they figure it's a sequel to Bloody Murder, but let's have very little connective tissue to Bloody Murder. So it's interesting that they have a different look for the killer. So she wakes up. She's working at this camp where they're locking it down for the winter. It's about 8 people, 7 counselors. Well, technically 9. 7 counselors, a maid, I guess you would call her, and the head guy, the boss named Rick. More like Rick the Dick. The lead girl, Tracy, I'll say one thing. She's, with the acting, better than the people in the first movie, but, it's there. She's very hot, though. She's a very beautiful lady. Very beautiful lady. Like, when she wakes up from the dreams, like, I'm doing well. I'm like, shit. Take off your top, please. She doesn't do that, Sally. But like some of the other people, I'd tell the acting is a bit better compared with the first, at least with some of them. So you have the lead girl, Tracy. You have the boss, Rick. You have one character named Mike, Tracy's boyfriend, who he's a bit of a dick. You have this guy, Ryan, who's a bit of a troublemaker and gets in fights with the boss, Rick. You have Tiffany Shepis, which is an actress I've seen through a couple films throughout the years. I know back in the day she was friends with the guys at Dead Pit, Wes and Aaron. I don't think they've heard from her for a long time, but they were friendly with each other. And Tiffany Shepis, I liked her. I kind of wish she was the lead. Or hell, her character to be the same character, just have her be the lead. I think that would have improved things even more so. Would have been different, unique. Okay, she has a different vibe. I think her acting is a bit more smoother and more natural. She's the only one willing to get naked, and she's even admitted in interviews, yeah, hey, I saw the first one, it was god-awful, but hey, at least I'm getting naked, so at least people may think this is better. Definitely is right about that, and she has a beautiful body, and she does get naked 2 or 3 times, and has sex scenes that are almost like Skinamax sex scenes. She goes for her titties, riding people. She's not shy about it, so. And with a body like that, she shouldn't be shy about it, so. But sure, let a girl have tits and ride people, and still have her be the lead, and be the hero, and be the survivor. Wouldn't that stand out? Wouldn't that be interesting? Yes, she's a horny slut. She shows her tits, but she's, I would say, the best actor in the movie. And if she was the lead, that would actually be of note. That would make this stand out better. But that's not the case. But yeah, Tracy, like I said, they're packing stuff up. It's going to take a couple days. Her boyfriend, Tracy's boyfriend, Mike, is a dick. The reason I say he's a dick because he's trying to get in her pants. She doesn't want to. She has a lot of stuff on her mind. And he's like, well, maybe you should talk about your brother if you don't want the attention. She's back around the area that her brother disappeared. She can't mention it. Because you want to get in her pants and be a dick. So there's a point that the terrorists do around the campfire. They tell the legend of Trevor Moorehouse. I do like the other guy that says, oh, let me guess. And then he went to an asylum and then he ran off or he escaped or something. Every camp has a Trevor Moorehouse. Some fictitious psychopath. I think you come up with something better than a psychopath in the woods story. So I kind of like that he's calling the story out. Like it seems like a typical story. They play bloody murder, which is what they did the first film. But again, I will say this did that better, where in the first one, when they're trying to pretend the guy's dying, he's like, bloody murder. Like, he's still trying to be in the act. And it's like, if you're dying, why are you still pretending to be part of the game when you're dying? Here, they play it off better, where the guy's dying. It makes it feel more realistic. And the guy's more scared, and then they're laughing at him. Like, if you want the fake bloody murder thing, this was done a bit better in this compared with the first. And one thing this film has is got better death scenes, more gore, and much more nudity. So I will say that if, as a director, this guy, if you look at the first film and going, what can I improve? What can I improve from this? He did it. Again, it's not a great slasher. It's a slasher that I would never see again. The story is still basic. People get killed one by one. For some reason, they put in a thing where she has these dreams. I guess just to be a bit different. The dialogue, once in a while, they try to do a bit of a stream-like dialogue where there's a guy named Elvis who's black. He's like, "Oh, we don't survive movies like this. Everyone knows black guys did it first." And then the lady goes, "Well, when women did it, they did it first too, especially if they show off their boobs." "Yeah, but you don't need to show off your boobs. To me, I can't change who I am." But that's like one of the only times. I guess the first one you say kind of tried to do that too, where we watched this slasher film and it's like a guy who it's like they wanted to make him Randy from Scream, but they didn't do a whole lot with that. Except giving like 2 or so references where he's mentioning slasher films. But then the rest of the script doesn't really follow through on trying to be that witty or funny or clever. I figure we do it once or twice, that's enough. But the gore is definitely improved. Like, you see a lot more. I mean, one guy gets both his legs cut off and gets his head smashed with a rock. Pretty gory fashion. One gets an arrow in the neck, which is nice and bloody. One gets stabbed up and gets a decent throat slit. One gets a machete to the head. And pulled out. So the death scenes are definitely improved. And they're definitely more violent. Because of Tiffany Shepis, you see a lot more nudity. Because there's a bit where they're making out in the shower, and there's a bit where him and this guy are in the woods, and she's riding all can be, and titties all out. Which at least helps. It does help in these kind of movies. It's a pretty short film. It's only an hour and 20-some minutes. They also try to have red herrings, kind of like in the first one. One thing I did like also, getting more into spoilers, there's a nice piece of misdirection where 2 people have to go to the shower and clean up. They got mud over them. So they do this misdirection where you think the killer's in the woman's shower, is going to attack the lead, but then she turns, pulls a curtain, there's nothing, opens up a door, there's nothing there. You realize, oh no, he's in the boys' bathroom. They don't go after, yes, the black guy. He's not the first to die, but he does die. But that scene actually wasn't that badly done. Because like I said, I like the misdirection. Some people may seem it's predictable, but I still thought it was a nice idea for that type of misdirection. And then the whole bathroom's like blinking lights, so you can barely see the killer as he's stabbing. And the guy playing Elvis, the black guy, he did a good job selling his death. His screams sounded real, sounded legitimate. So there's a part I did kind of feel bad for him for how legitimate he was dreaming and getting stabbed so much and then throat slit. So I thought that was actually a pretty decent sequence for this kind of movie. Again, the dialogue isn't much to run home about. The characters are kind of just there. Very, generic characters. There's the lead, there's kind of the person she's closest to, there's her dick boyfriend, there's the slut, there's the black guy. So it's nothing to run home about in terms of the characters or the story. It's just, if you are a diehard slasher fan and you want to see one that has Tiffany Shepis, some decent nudity, has a couple decent death scenes, is a short one, definitely plays out the red herrings because, like the first one, you think this guy is the killer. He gets arrested. Then, of course, no, he's not the killer. It's this other, maybe it's this other person. So again, spoilers. They think it's Tracy's boyfriend, Mike. He gets arrested, but then she's like, something doesn't feel right. Maybe it's the boss, Rick, which he definitely plays into his red herring role. I'll say that. The sheriff shoots him, or the deputy. One of the cops shoot him. She rides off with the sheriff, and you find out that the sheriff is the villain because he is the father of Trevor Moorehouse. And he's tired of kids coming back to camp, and he had left a while ago and came back for revenge for what happened to his son and all that. So he's doing a Betsy Palmer, Friday the 13th. Instead of the mom, here's the dad. Chases after the last two remaining survivors. Nothing remarkable to say about that. They get back to the woods, he's ready to kill the girl, and then someone comes out with a chainsaw, and I guess it's the real Trevor Moorehouse, and cuts his dad's head off, walks up to the girl, and then decides to walk away with his dad's body. Now, why the killer didn't kill her, why the killer didn't kill the other girl who was knocked out for a bit, I don't know. I mean, I will say that made things a bit more interesting. It piqued my interest of, wait a minute, what? And it's also interesting that Trevor Moorehouse is this legend that he's been brought up, and he didn't really... The only person he's killed in 2 movies is the bad guy. Because, you find out that apparently at the end of the first movie, when the real Trevor Moorehouse with the chainsaw goes after Jason, that was this sheriff, this father guy. Because he even admits, and 5 years ago I killed your brother. So the father was the guy with the hockey mask at the end of the first movie. So it's funny, Trevor Moorehouse keeps getting brought up, but he hasn't really killed anybody except... Who knows, maybe they made a Bloody Murder... Well, technically there was a Bloody Murder 3, but it was named a completely different title. I forget what it was. That has very little to do with this. But I think it's like the same camp it takes place in. But... yeah, Trevor Moorehouse doesn't kill anybody. Maybe if they did a third one, it'd be like, nope, that wasn't Trevor Moorehouse either. It was Trevor's sister or something. His cousin. His Uncle Jed. I don't fucking know. But it just made me wonder, why did he just... Okay, he murdered his dad, but why did he not kill the other two? Is he a good guy? Is he not that bad of a guy? But he just likes to go around the woods with a chainsaw and a mask? I don't know. And why was the lead girl having these dreams? He even has one dream where the killer pulls off the mask and it's her boss Rick. So her dream made her think of... fooled her. So her dream tricked her ass. Her dream made her think that that Rick was the killer when he wasn't. So her dream tricked her ass. Her dream fooled her ass. Well, who gave her these dreams in the first place? Because they seem like visions, is what I'm getting at. These dreams seem like visions. So her vision gave her a lie? I don't know. Then she has one more dream vision of her brother, I guess, being peace, but it looked like he was still stuck there in the woods, scared. But I guess he was at peace. I don't know. There's still issues with it. The whole dream thing, I don't think you needed to do that. I don't think that really brought anything to the table worth a shit. It just made things more weird, awkward, confusing. I don't think it was that well photographed either. Was like, it's at nighttime, but there's this light cascading over. I don't know. I don't think that any of that was needed. Maybe they felt we had to do this to not seem like a copy of the first, but just make a better movie. Which, I mean, technically they did make a better movie. Trevor beheads his dad, drives the body to the woods. The two girls walk out. There's no sequel bait ending. And that's it. No downbeat ending, then it's over. So I guess if it's a rainy night and you can find this on, I don't know if it's on Tubi or whatever the place this could be on, and you've watched every slasher film you could think of, you may get some fun and giggles out of this. I can at least appreciate the kills. I can appreciate Tiffany Shepis. I didn't mind her acting. I like more nudity. The music was there, kind of typical. The look of the killer, I thought, was still kind of bland. I actually preferred the hockey mask rip-off look in the first movie. This one just looked a bit too forgettable of a look, but just the white mask. I thought that looked more bland than the one in the first movie. So I kind of wish they kept with the hockey mask thing. The characters, none of them really, I mean, other than Tiffany Shepis, none of them really stood out to me one way or another, and that's why I still have a lukewarm reaction to the movie, but it's not a full-blown fiery rant because it's miles better than the first one. Miles better. So I'll give it that. Congrats on that, at least. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.